Hallo, liebe Leute, hier spricht Yannick. Ich hatte vor kurzem das Vergnügen, mit einer Künstlerin zu sprechen, deren Namen ich auch nach 5-mal Üben nicht richtig aussprechen kann. Sie wird ihn gleich nochmal richtig aussprechen. Sie heißt Charlotte Cardin. Ich kann kein Französisch, es tut mir sehr leid. Sie ist Singer-Songwriterin mit richtig viel Biss in der Stimme und hat vor kurzem ihr Debütalbum Phönix veröffentlicht. Ich habe mit ihr über die Soundfindung des Albums gesprochen und darüber, was Radiohead für sie bedeutet. Und natürlich haben wir auch einzelne Songs besprochen. Es geht nämlich auf dem Album um Liebe, aber auch sehr viel um Selbstbestimmung und um Boldness, wie wir später hören werden. Viel Spaß!
My first question would be, just for the introduction, who are you and what do you do?
Well, my name is Charlotte Cardin. I'm a singer-songwriter from Montreal, born and raised. I'm still based here, and I'm just releasing my first album, Phönix, April 23rd. So that's the quick little intro.
Nice. As you said, your debut album is going to be released really, really soon. How do you feel? What's the mood right now?
I feel super excited. We've worked for almost 3 years on this album. So
Wow.
I am so ready, so proud of the album. Like there was so much work and effort put into it. And I'm just really excited. I'm really looking forward to it. And we were supposed to release it a few months ago, but with actually even over 6 months ago, but we decided to push back the release just because of everything that's going on in the world. And it's such a crazy landscape right now. So it just feels really exciting to finally put out some new music for sure.
Nice. So let's get right into the album talk. What does the phoenix mean to you as a symbol, maybe?
Yeah, well, the symbol to me was very linked to the whole process of the creation of the album, because as I mentioned, it was a super long process through which I experienced tons of personal things, but also a lot of professional realizations. I had always written my songs alone by myself at home, isolated myself. I had written everything by myself until this album. And what happened was I started writing for about 6 months and I wasn't getting anywhere. It was just I felt super lonely. It gets a little bit lonely sometimes when you work alone, and it's, it stirs up all kinds of emotions. And I just realized that I wasn't doing it the right way. I was kind of trying to write the music, thinking about how people were going to receive it, thinking of the expectations, what people wanted from me. And I was like, you know what? That's the wrong way to approach it. I need to write the music for myself. And it needs to be a liberation for me to write this first album. It's a big deal for me. And it's kind of something I need to do for me. And that's when I started co-writing. And that was the first time for me doing that. And so I surrounded myself with my little team in Montreal. Jason Brando, who's my manager, but who's also the one who co-wrote the entire album and who produced all of my songs so far, so he co-wrote everything with me. And it just completely switched the mindset, the approach, and just the overall experience of writing the album just became so liberating and fun. And so for me, the Phoenix, to get back to that, is really that kind of, I guess it's that thought about how whenever there's a personal or professional evolution, it also comes with, sacrifices and things that you have to let go of, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a process or something you've been doing that you were doing wrong. But it's just that kind of, cycle between growing and the evolution that you'll go through. And also the things you have to let go of and the sacrifices that come with that. And so it's that, it's not so much of a rebirth, because obviously it's my first album. I still feel I need to, put it out there and people still need to discover what I've been working on. But for me, it's more of a cycle between, growth and sacrifice.
I see. walk me through the sound of the album, because in some songs you have some 80s inspired synthes, then you have these very slow songs, some are very orchestral in a way. How did you manage to put all of this together?
So I guess I listen to very, very kind of like just all kinds of music. I've never been into only one style. And I think that's why my own music kind of reflects that as well. So I listen to a lot of hip hop, rap, but I also love jazz and pop and rock and roll. My dad is a huge rock and roll fan. So I grew up listening to all kinds of music, right? And so what we wanted to do is obviously we wanted to have a lot of fun with production and we wanted to explore all kinds of music genres because that's what I love listening to and that's what I love making. But I wanted the album to obviously have like a coherence between the songs. And so what we decided to do is to just really focus on all the songs, no matter what styles we were going to kind of flirt with. We wanted the songs to be very simple and as stripped down as possible and really keep the main focus on vocal melodies and just the vocals in general. So no matter how much fun we wanted to have with the production, we wanted to keep it simple and kind of always strip down as much as we could, but still keep a few elements that were like surprising or fun to play with.
Oh yeah, you can hear that.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad because it was obviously like a concern where we were like, okay, like we're touching all kinds of genres, but it still needs to make sense as a whole. And so, yeah, so that's why we decided to keep it pretty simple, but that's always what I've wanted to do.
I feel like since you guys decided to have the main focus on your voice, that's the thing that keeps it all together. And that's very well done.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to hear that.
The next song I wanted to talk about, Sex to Me, which was a song that I really liked. What was the Say Hi for Me line about?
Well, okay, so Sex to Me is definitely like the sassiest, kind of like snappiest song of the album.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely like it started off as a joke. Like we actually wrote this song, you know, when you're like so tired that you're like, you almost feel a little bit like high. And we were in the studio. We had been in the studio for days and days and months. And as our sound engineer was like playing around with stuff, we started writing that song like really like as a joke, but we were like, oh, like maybe we're onto something. Like it actually sounds really good. So we just really pushed it completely in, you know, in the sassiest direction as possible. And so the Say Hi for Me line is like, because it says in the song, it says, I don't want to meet your family unless your big brother is into me. Say hi for me is like, tell him I say hi, like almost as if I'm like flirting with the brother in question. But it's obviously extremely exaggerated and extremely sassy, but that's the whole, you know, that was the whole idea behind the song.
Yeah, I see. Very good song. I liked it.
Thank you.
Another very interesting song is XOXO. What did you do on with your voice on that one?
We completely pitched down the vocals. So I sang it originally. I sang the song. I'm not sure. I think it was like either 2 tones higher, something like that. And we just pitched it down. And that was actually a surprise for us because we didn't intend to do it that way. I had written the song like from a first person point of view, like it was just me supposed to sing. And as we were playing around with different keys, we always do that with the songs. Like let's say I write it in D, then we always kind of try to see if it's the best key to sing it in because it's a good exercise to do. And instead of only pitching down the instrumental track, we also pitched down the vocals and we're like, oh shit, this actually sounds really cool. So I rewrote the song, kind of like singing it as if a man was talking to me and then I was answering. But originally it was just me kind of like talking to someone.
Could have also been a feature part, in my opinion.
It could have definitely been a feature part. And I feel like we were kind of hoping that, I mean, at first, I really like how my voice sounds pitched down, but I was like, oh, it would be so cool if eventually it was just like an actual artist that sang that part. And I guess it just didn't really happen, but we were definitely open to that. And maybe at one point we can like re-edit it and have it with an actual feature.
No, it works out that way too. But what's that song about?
Well, so the song is basically about a guy apologizing to me for cheating on me and me just being like, you know what? I send my love to all of your girls. I'm not, I'm out. And that's just kind of like the conversation that's like, please, like, forgive me. And me being like, you know what? No.
You messed up. I see. In this song, you also mentioned some French girls, which I interpreted as foreshadowing of the outro song.
Je quitte.
Yeah, je quitte, right. Tell me what je quitte means, because I Googled it. I don't speak French, but I know it means to leave somebody.
Yeah.
What does it mean in the context of the album?
So, je quitte means I'm leaving. And the chorus of the song says, je quitte mais je ne te quitte pas, which means I'm leaving, but I'm not leaving you. And the whole idea behind the song is like, when you really love someone, but you just need a fucking break because you feel like you're choking in your own like routine and like just like sometimes life gets heavy even though you love someone, and it's just about like needing a fucking break. And it's like it can either be like I need to go take a walk for an hour, but it can also be like I need 2 months away from you and I just need, and the song is about that. It's about like figuring out that you're like not happy with the person at that moment anymore, but it doesn't mean you won't ever be happy with them again. And so I thought it was cool to put that song at the very end of the album because it's like I'm leaving, but I'm not leaving forever, which is kind of like we're going to write another album kind of.
It's also the end of the cycle and also in a way the beginning again of a new one.
Yeah, exactly.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I have another question for you. What does Radiohead mean to you? Because I know that you covered Creep and I know that No Surprises inspired you to write music. And then I listened to Romeo and then there's this reference there again.
Well, Radiohead is a band that really influenced me because I grew up listening to them, but when I was a teenager, I really got into like, it was almost like I had always heard their songs and loved them. But at one point I remember a moment where I heard No Surprises and I was like, holy shit, like they can create such amazing atmospheres with their music and they really take you in to their universe. And that's really impressive. And they have a super unique way of doing that, obviously. And so, yeah, Radiohead has kind of like accompanied me in a lot of important parts of my life. I'm not like the biggest fan where like I know all of their songs and like it's more like of a, like I know a lot of their songs and albums, but I'm not like a super fan that knows all the more like obscure like albums. I just like associate them to really intense moments of my life. The song Romeo is about like that moment where you realize that you're in love with someone. It's one of the most personal songs I've ever written because it's like about a specific moment where I was like, okay, like you are the one. House of Cards was playing in the apartment at that moment. And it's just like a very, like, it's almost like a sensory memory where like you remember a moment so specifically, and House of Cards was playing and the song is about that moment.
I see. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Last question about the album. How would you describe the mood of the album in 3 words?
In 3 words. Wow. Okay. That's such a good question. Well, the album is, wow. Okay. I think, well, for me at least, and hopefully for people who listen to it, but I think there's definitely a part of liberation. For me, even like writing the songs and approaching like the different subjects and the different themes, to me, there's a part of liberation in this album. And I hope that people that listen to it kind of feel a little bit of that too. But the album is, wow, that's such a good question. I almost feel like I'd want to think about it more, but it has like, okay, well, it's just hard because we like touch so many different styles. But I think like the overall style of the album is definitely pop, but with influences that are hip hop, trap, and jazz. And so I know that that's more than 3 words, but I think those like in a stylistic kind of way, I think those are like the main genres.
Yeah. It's hard to pin down.
Yeah, so it's like 4, but it's like, so it's a pop album, but that's very influenced by soul and hip hop.
Oh yeah.
And also like I think personal would be a word that definitely comes to mind because I've never written songs that were so personal in my life.
And also direct, maybe, in a way.
Very direct, for sure. There's like there's definitely a bluntness to the writing, and I really wanted I just wanted the album to be blunt and to be like real, and it's a challenge because it's like hard sometimes to go like dig into your own wounds and kind of get things out like that. But yeah, there's definitely a bluntness to it. Thank you for helping me find the words.
No worries. I got you. Well, then that concludes the interview for me.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.